Hello again, everybody. Today we're going to discuss some means of expressing the future in English. We can express the future tense in English by the following means. We can use the future simple tense, the phrase to be going to, future continuous, future perfect, as well as the future perfect continuous tense. So now let's turn to some future simple forms in affirmative, interrogative, and negative sentences in the first table. To form an affirmative sentence in the future simple tense, it's very simple. All you must say is I, you, we, they, he, she, or it. It is the same for all of them. Will do something. For example, I will visit my cousin tomorrow, or even they will visit my cousin tomorrow. Likewise, to make a negative sentence in this formation, you just add the word not after will. For example, I will not visit my cousin tomorrow, or even he will not visit my cousin tomorrow. To form an interrogative sentence, you simply move the word will to the beginning. For example, will he visit your cousin tomorrow? Or will they visit your cousin tomorrow? And some forms of short answers. To make a positive sentence, all you must say is yes, I will. Yes, he will, she will, they will. It's always the same. But to make a negative sentence, you must say no, they will not, or its short form, and be very careful, the short form won't. It is not wilt, it becomes the word won't, as in, no, they won't, no, he won't, no, I won't. The following adverbs are indicators that the future simple tense is or should be used. Words like tomorrow, next month, next year, next week, in a week, in several days, months, years, any time phrase which lets us know that it's in the future. Some cases of usage of the future simple tense are as follows. For example, I can say, I will see you tonight at 6. Or another example, in 6 years, I will graduate from the medical college and become a licensed doctor. Here, I've made an on-the-spot decision. I haven't planned my response in my head. And these are what are called, well, this is what is called the future indefinite tense. Here, I've made an on-the-spot decision and I've made a sudden response without planning it. So I'm using the word will. A second form that we can use is anything involving a verb of mental activity. For example, I think you'll do great on the exam. Or, I'm not sure that will work. Here, because I'm using mental activity, because I'm talking about what I think or feel, I can use the word will to make a prediction about the future. And finally, I could say something like, these bags are heavy. Will you help me? Or if you ask me, because I'm such a nice guy, I'll tell you, yes, of course I will. Here, I've used will to make a request and to offer my help. Will you help me? Yes, I will. And you can use the future simple tense to do this. So there's another grammatical means that we can use to discuss the future, the phrase to be going to. And we can use this in a few different ways. For example, if there is something that seems obvious in the present, it's an action that will happen in the future, but it seems certain. We know it will happen, or we think very much that it will happen. I could say something like, oh, look, it's cloudy outside. I think it's going to rain. Or another example, this ladder is really shaky. You are going to fall if you climb on it. Here, both of these results seem obvious from the present conditions. So I can say going to to talk about the future. Another example is that I can talk about decisions that I've made. For example, why have you taken down the curtains? Oh, I'm going to wash the windows. Or, for example, why are you getting in your car? Oh, I'm going to the store. Here, I have made a decision in the present to do something. I'm going to wash the windows. I'm going to the store. And here, even though my action will take place in the future, I can say going to express it. And finally, I can talk about arrangements. For example, they're going to get married in the fall. Here, both of these people have made an arrangement. They've planned to get married in the fall. And even though it's in the future, we can say they are going to do it without using will. So you must remember from previous lectures that we can also use the present continuous tense to talk about the future. So then what's the difference between present continuous and to be going to do something? Let's consider it in these two examples. Sam is meeting Helen tomorrow, and Sam is going to meet Helen tomorrow. In both of these examples, Sam has planned to meet with Helen. However, in the first example, both parties have agreed. Sam has already spoken to Helen, and it is a mutual plan. Both of them agree on this plan. In the second example, Sam has already planned to meet with Helen. However, they have not spoken yet. Sam has not already spoken to Sam about it. And remember that it's incorrect to use verbs of movement, for example, to go, with the phrase to be going. For example, I am going to go to the store later should just be I am going to the store later. There's no need for the extra to go. So, now let's sum up the cases of usage of the future simple, the phrase to be going to, and the present continuous tense by looking at Table 3. One example where we can use the future simple tense, talking about on-the-spot decisions, for example, the phone is ringing. I'll answer it. Or to talk about predictions based on what we think, believe, feel, or imagine. It will probably be raining later. The present continuous we use to talk about definite arrangements with all of the necessary preparations in the near future. Sam is meeting Helen tomorrow. These plans have already been arranged and finished. And finally, to be going to, we can use to talk about plans and intentions in the near future, but with little or no preparations. We're going to move to London. Or to talk about predictions based on what we see or what we know. For example, the coffee machine is going to break down because it's making a really strange noise right now. So now, having spoken about the future simple tense, we need to move on to discussing the future continuous tense in English.